Alright, good morning everybody. I've had one cup of coffee today. It's like 11 o'clock. Been up since 4:30. Time for my second cup of coffee. Well, it's zoomed in. Coffee's check, we got it. Now we're gonna get some food. Getting that yogurt?
Yeah, if they have it, they're always out.
Alright, we'll get some Cat Hill almond yogurt. Yeah, buddy. Alright, y'all, quick update on the day. I want to talk a little bit about the differences in how I've felt with the first few days into this high fat month. One of which, like, I'm definitely biased towards high fat, okay? Like, people have called me out on that. There's a reason I'm biased towards high fat. I prefer high fat more. My body operates and performs better with high fat. Why would I not be biased? That's what my body prefers. Now, that doesn't mean that I've been unfair with how I've performed the first month being high protein. Like, I'm pretty open-minded, and I look at the results and I measure based off of that, and the results showed the high protein was not ideal for what I'm trying to do, and I feel better with the higher fat ratio. For instance, last month I would oftentimes set my alarm for 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I would wake up, press the snooze button because I was so tired I didn't want to start the day, and I'd wind up pushing my day back farther and staying up later. I didn't have that motivation, that energy to just get up and hustle, which I missed. I felt like I lacked productivity last month. This month, literally the first morning after having a high fat day, I woke up with energy. Like today, for instance, I went to bed at 11 last night, set my alarm for 5 to wake up to give myself 6 hours. I woke up at 4 without the alarm, got out of bed and started hustling. Now, that's not me being biased. That's not me that's not a placebo effect. You know, I didn't wake up with the alarm. Like, I felt better, woke up with energy, hit the day, running. And I can't argue those results. I can't argue the way I feel. I feel much more energetic and productive with the higher fat, like night and day difference, period. And nobody can say that that's not true because that's how I personally feel. That said, I'm going to be just as fair with this month as I was last month, just as fair with the last month of this experiment as I was the first 2 months. And I'll listen to see what the results show me. In other news, I got the results back from the genetic testing, so I'm going to take you through the computer, probably do like a screen share, show you what those results are. I use Genie Blueprint. They hooked me up with that, so I'm going to take you through that portal and show you what kind of feedback I got from doing that result, or from that test. So, excited to show you that. And that's all I got to say about that. So I'll catch y'all in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to take you inside my human genome and show you what my genetic results indicate I would be best suited for from a dietary and exercise standpoint. So, welcome to my computer. Alright, so this is the genieblueprint.com homepage. And now, just a quick little preface. I did not, I'm not paid by them or endorsed by them or any of that jazz. They just reached out to me and offered to perform their service for me, so I willingly accepted. Now, quick little background. Basically, this is you can get your genetic test done, then you send it into them, similar to how 23andMe works. They have the advantage in that they give you an in-depth look at what that genetic data means. I did the 23andMe test. I got the results back, but it's kind of like the results from 23andMe alone did not really tell you very much about what the data actually means. You have to kind of do some digging yourself, whereas this kind of breaks it down for you. So I'm just kind of scrolling down the main page now, just to kind of give you a visual. Going back up the top, basically you can purchase your kit. Apparently it's $4.49, and then similar to hold on a second there. Alright, so basically that's just kind of some of the images that come with it, but you send in your kit, and this part is similar to 23andMe. So you get a kit. It's like a cheek swab. This is what the kit looks like. It's like a cheek swab. You get a sample of your DNA, send that back to them. You go through this whole confirmation process, yada yada yada. I did not do this part because I had all the data from 23andMe, so I just sent them the raw data from 23andMe, and they had all they needed to give me the results. So basically, with this, you get like a sample meal plan that's suited for you. You get genetic results, kind of what that means from an athletic and nutritional standpoint and a training standpoint. So I just got my results back. I'm gonna go ahead and log in and show you what that looked like for me. So when you get into your dashboard, you've got my results, my meal plan. This is just kind of like a little descriptive thing that shows what the numbers mean. But so I'll go to my results, and this is pretty cool. It has it shows like a training. It's got a tab for nutrition, vitamins, and then environment. And then basically you can dive into each of these further. So for instance, endurance training. I'm just gonna kind of speak. I'm not gonna go through all these. I'm just gonna speak on the ones that I found interesting, and hopefully y'all will find interesting. So endurance, I got a 9 out of 100 score. So I click on that, view more, and then it kind of has a baseline here. So 0 is lower baseline endurance, 50 is average, and 100 is higher baseline endurance. So it kind of talks about what genes that I have that showcase this, and then some considerations here. So apparently my genetic score shows a lower affinity for endurance exercise. It may be more difficult for me to sustain long periods of physical activity. Not quite sure I agree with that. And then again, real quick, all this is based off of genetics alone. Like there's a bunch of lifestyle factors that come into play here that these numbers aren't going to illustrate. For instance, let's look at, I've never broken any bones, so my bone strength is pretty high. That makes sense. Joint strength's good. Never had any injuries or mishaps there. So power, fast twitch or slow twitch muscle fibers. Let's click on that. And I knew this from 23andMe. This one was kind of described in detail with 23andMe, but I'm at a low output, less power at 0, more at 100. So according to this, I have a basically a slightly decreased power. I should be more of a distance runner than like a sprinter, more so than like a powerlifter. Basically, I'm not really suited for powerlifting according to my genetics alone. Going to strength, 79 out of 100. How much force can you apply? 0 lower strength, 100 greater strength. So 79 is pretty good. Feel pretty good about that. Utilize exercises that require you to hold excessive weight loads for an extended period of time, such as deadlifts, will significantly improve strength. So those pause deep squats, gotta love that. So yeah, that's some pretty interesting data there. Nutritional. Now this was kind of interesting. This is definitely not quite with how I'm living. This is where the lifestyle factors come into play much more so than genetics alone. So I haven't clicked on alcohol sensitivity yet. What does that say? So low, less sensitive. My genetic score indicates that I'm less likely to be susceptible to alcohol flushing. I don't really drink, so it doesn't really matter to me anyways. Now this is interesting. Carbohydrate tolerance. Let's click on that. So I got 29 out of 100, 0 being a low tolerance, 50 average, and 100 high. So I'm less than average. I've always thought that I was, pretty insulin sensitive. I could handle my carbohydrates very well. I've gotten really lean with carbohydrates in the past, so they haven't really affected me negatively before. I just prefer to not use them as I am keto. Now this is even more interesting. I had to kind of laugh at this one. So fat tolerance, how your body reacts to fats. Click on that, and you can see I've got a 4 out of 100. 0 less tolerant to fatty meals, 50 average, 100 more tolerant. So basically I'm pretty much like 0. Like I'm not even supposed to be eating fat basically. And here I am keto, and currently I'm on an 82% fat. 82% of my calories are derived from fat right now, and saturated fat at that. And all of my blood work comes back like amazing with my high fat intake. So I'm not entirely sure I agree with this as a recommendation. Now again, like I've said 3 times now, the genetic factor they have on here somewhere. I haven't dug that deep into this yet, but there's only like a certain percentage that is determined by genetics alone, and I don't know what that is, but you know, lifestyle factors come into play, and just kind of like your day-to-day, you know, doings. So keto works for me. I have no desire to stop keto simply because my genetics indicate that I should not be susceptible to metabolizing fat efficiently. I personally think I metabolize it pretty dang good. So it's got vitamins here, vitamin D response. I'm kind of curious about this one. So I supplement with vitamin D. I'm at a 74 out of 100. 0 is higher need, 50 average, 100 less need. So probably don't need to be taking as much as I do. Plus I hit up the tanning bed from time to time, so I'm probably good from a vitamin D perspective. Let's see what else we got. Caffeine sensitivity, 53 out of 100, so about middle of the road there. Let me scroll up here a little bit. Anxiety, bitter taste perception, and morningness. Are you an early bird? I am 79 out of 100, so that could explain why I like the early morning work. But yeah, I think this is just cool. You know, it breaks down and kind of goes into more detail about what each of these you know, different factors mean, how they can be interpreted, how they could be used and acted upon. I had to kind of laugh, like I said, about that fat tolerance. It was kind of comical. And then what's cool is they also provide you with a meal plan. And based off of my genetics, you know, they're I can already tell before I even clicking on these, they're not going to recommend keto. So I can't say that I would really go off of their recommendations here. But this is downloading. Give me 1 second. We'll see what it looks like here. Bear with me. Bear with me. It is downloaded. Opening that up. So Genie Blueprint Meal Plan. So it's kind of cool. It breaks it down. You know, calories. Break down the macronutrient split. Meal timing. Gives you the ingredients. Gives you kind of meal ideas. I'm gonna scroll really fast here for a second. At the bottom here, it has, let's go to the very bottom. So it's got like a grocery list. It's got it subdivided into food types, you know, fats and oils, baked products, sweets, spices. So it's pretty informative, especially for someone that's just now starting out and hasn't really experimented on what works best for them anyways. It's just, I could definitely say this could be beneficial, you know, kind of give them a good starting point. But like I said, I'm sticking with keto despite my genetic, apparent genetic intolerance to fat. Let me just read this real quick out of curiosity here. Considerations. Your genetic score indicates that you have low fat tolerance. This does not mean that we recommend cutting out fat completely from your diet. Moderation is key when it comes to highly fatty foods such as ice cream, milkshakes, cheeses, or red meat. Well, ice cream and milkshakes, those have got too many carbs in them anyways. I do eat a lot of cheese and red meat. Ensure that your saturated fat intake surprises less than 15% of your total caloric intake. So my saturated fat intake is probably around the 75 to 80% mark. So definitely not following the guidelines there, but like I said, I could definitely see how this would be advantageous for someone that's just starting, hasn't really done much self-experimentation yet, hasn't really figured out what their body's responding well to. Really good starting point here. And some of this stuff, it is interesting, but like I said, according to this, I'm not supposed to be a bodybuilder on keto. So kind of funny there. But still, it's pretty cool to be able to submit your genetic data in, see kind of what all these markers mean, how they can be used. So yeah, I'm intrigued for sure. So check them out, genieblueprint.com, if you're interested in getting a genetic test done yourself. The feedback can be worthwhile for sure, and the guys there are super cool. I've talked with them a couple times now, and I've got nothing but nice things to say about them. So yeah, that is all I gotta say. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later.